Hi guys, and welcome back. Oh my god, I can't even believe it's been what, like over 3 months since I've filmed and posted a video, and it's just wild. Before we even begin, I wanted to just say thank you so much to you guys. You have no idea how loved and supported I felt after posting a video that I kind of regretted. I was kind of like, I shouldn't have posted this, but I kind of wanted you guys also to know that I was going through something big and it was really hard at the time. And yeah, the amount of love and support you guys showed me was just incredible. So a lot of you guys have been commenting, hoping that everything's okay. And I wouldn't say they're okay. I would say that time just kind of makes you accept things, right? And I've accepted it and I'm just dealing with my situation. So it's not a situation I ever thought I would be in. So that's taken some getting used to. And I know it's really annoying not just saying what it is, but I'm just not ready to. And I don't feel like I should feel pressured to. And most of you guys, like 90% of you guys, support that. But in saying that, you know, life has to go on. I have to get back into making videos, something that I truly enjoy, and I just need to kind of like find my new normal. Also, as you can tell, I already have my makeup on. So like I mentioned in the last video, I'm not going to be doing makeup on camera anymore. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'll do one once a month. I don't know. For now, I probably won't be doing makeup in my videos anymore. So yeah, I just wanted to say thanks again for everything, and I'm really kind of excited to be back. Today's case I researched back in April, May, and it was a case that I wanted to talk about every week, but I kept putting it off thinking that we're gonna get more information or something like that. But there hasn't really been more information that's come out, so I thought, let's just talk about it. So imagine being a model. You're beautiful, you have a great boyfriend, and you make tens of thousands of dollars a month, millions a year. Doesn't that just sound like the most ideal life when you're in your 20s? Well, what if that all came crashing down? You lost your income, you lost your lifestyle, and most importantly, your boyfriend died, and you were the one that killed him. Let's get into it. So we are talking about Courtney Taylor Clenney. She was born on April 21st, 1996 to her parents, Deborah and Kim, in Midland, Texas. She had a sister named Morgan, and the family moved to Austin, Texas when Courtney was around 7 years old. And they would end up living there for around 11 years until Courtney decided to move to LA. She grew up in a well-off family. Her father worked as a financial advisor, and the sisters lived a relatively normal, happy life. Growing up, Courtney was very active. She played every sport available at her school. She played soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, horseback riding, and diving. At one point, she began pursuing diving as a career, and her parents really thought she would go to the Olympics for this. Courtney was always the center of attention. She could always entertain her family and her friends, and from a young age, she knew that she wanted to pursue acting. At the age of 13, she began going to acting, dancing, and voice acting classes in the hopes of one day becoming a famous actress. This actually paid off for Courtney, as she appeared in a few ads for Pepsi, Cirrus Logic, Celebration Church, and Discount Dollar. She even had a few minor roles in a few TV and film projects like American Psycho, The Lying Game, Unstalkable, Everybody Wants Some, and Boyhood. Courtney always had an interest in fitness and began going to the gym in high school at around the age of 14. But while she was pursuing acting, she was training more actively in the gym and was noticing how her hard work was paying off. So she would then move to Los Angeles to pursue her quest for fame. In 2016, at the age of 20, she would put her acting career on hold while she prepared for her first fitness competition, the NPC West Coast Classic, and she placed 6th and 9th. Later that year, she entered her second competition, being the NPC Brew City and this time she won. This then propelled her into the professional fitness industry, and this is where she began getting noticed on Instagram. She even started a YouTube channel where she posted her fitness routine and Q&As about her life. So as she posted more and more photos on IG, you know, she was beautiful, she had a great body that she worked hard for, she started to get a bunch of followers. She just kept posting, and then suddenly she became a social media star with over 1 million followers. So even though she was becoming known now, money doesn't just, you know, magically roll in. So at the beginning, she did have some financial struggles, which led to her working at a strip club in Texas. And this did strain her relationship with her parents, but Courtney knew she wanted to make a name for herself. She knew she wanted to be something, and she knew her gym selfies were gaining so much attention. So when OnlyFans started becoming more and more popular, Courtney was like, I'm gonna try it out. She obviously did not mind the attention, sharing herself, her body, her life on social media, and this new platform could get you paid. So if you don't already know, I'm sure you do, OnlyFans is a platform where individuals make different types of content, and it's subscription based, so you pay for this content usually monthly. A lot of different types of content is on this app, like fitness, music, but it's primarily for not safe for work content, adult oriented content, nudes, pornography, and sometimes really weird shit. But content creators can make thousands a month on this app, or even millions. By December 2020, OnlyFans had 85 million users and more than 1 million creators. And it was generating more than $2 billion in sales that year alone. And that was when it was like just kind of getting popular. So just to give you an idea, celebrities even joined this platform, mainly due to the earning potential. So rapper Cardi B, she made $10 million a month in 2022. Black China, she was a model, Tiger's ex Kardashian situation. She made $20 million a month. What am I doing here? I should be on OnlyFans. What should I do on there? I have nice feet. I should do feet pics. Courtney. So she did well on OnlyFans, of course. She was gorgeous, and she found success with her provocative content, garnering more attention and income than safer content. So that year in 2020, she earned over $950,000. And in 2021, $1.8 million. Wow. As of 2022, her estimated net worth was over $2 million. And I read online that from promoting stuff alone, she was earning over 30K a month. So she was earning like 150K in total per month. Then in November 2020, Courtney met someone, a guy named Christian Obumseli. Christian, who also went by Toby, was born on 12 April 1994 to his parents Chris and Chio in Dallas, Texas. He had an older brother named Jeffrey, and he went to Plano East High School. Christian was loved by many. He had a big smile and a joyful attitude that lit up the lives of those around him. During high school, he was passionate about football and did so well as a middle linebacker that he scored a scholarship to Abilene Christian University. He later transferred to Texas Tech University, where he studied engineering. His friends would say he was a free spirit with big dreams. He described himself as a young Black professional. He loved traveling. He was friendly and caring to those around him. Due to this and his friendly personality, he had a bunch of friends, and people just wanted to be around Christian, including Courtney. Within weeks of meeting each other, Christian and Courtney were in love. They spent lots of time together. They went on multiple vacations together, and their social media really just looked like one big party. They really seemed to be living it up. Courtney was known as a party animal, and she had been in trouble with the law, where she was charged twice, once at the age of 18 and a second time at the age of 25, with a DWI in her home state of Texas. And one of these incidents, she was so drunk and she approaches this 18-year-old boy near her parents' house. She asks this boy to kiss her. And when he refused, she threatened to burn his house down. It's also claimed that Courtney attempted to stab an ex-boyfriend on not one, but 2 occasions. And this was eventually denied by Courtney's reps. And I don't know if this was the same boyfriend, but she was dating this guy named Sean Roden, and he actually won Mr. Olympia back in 2018. But it's alleged that during their relationship, she found out that he was actually married. And when she found this out, she punched him and broke his jaw. Now, if you look at this guy, he's a big guy, and she broke his jaw. So these allegations are important because it shows Courtney's history of chaotic behavior and her tendency to be violent. So although Courtney and Christian's relationship moved really fast, it wasn't as happy as they portrayed it to be online. And this was according to their friends. Their relationship was very rocky and things turned physical quickly. Courtney was very jealous, controlling, and would pick a fight over the smallest of issues. She screamed at him and hit him, with friends saying that they had seen Courtney hit Christian on the chest and shoulders often, but that they had never seen him hit her. Friends claimed they had seen Courtney scream at Christian during parties and events, pushing him and causing fights and arguments over him even just looking at other women. But according to their friends, Christian would always make excuses for Courtney's behavior. Like many abusive relationships, when things were good, they were really good. And that is what they shared online, posting so many happy, smiling photos together. And when things were bad, they were really bad. Christian and Courtney would break up and get back together several times. Soon, Christian, who worked in cryptocurrency, made the decision to become almost a personal assistant to Courtney. Her career was taking off and she needed the help. So while this sounds good, it was actually bad, because this just meant that the two of them would spend even more time together. But Courtney probably wanted it this way because Christian would then be around her all the time and she would know where he was and where he was supposed to be at all times. The relationship was also strained by Courtney's alleged alcohol abuse. It was almost like she would have these manic episodes when drinking. She would drag Christian into it, and he was always the one who was calming her down. So because Courtney earned so much money, she would pay for every single thing in their relationship. The enormous rent for the fancy apartment, the stylish designer clothes, their trips, the jewelry. She funded everything, and she would also spoil Toby with gifts whenever she would mistreat him. Courtney was arrested for domestic battery in Las Vegas in July 2021 after she admitted to throwing a glass at Christian. And then back in Texas, police were called to their home in Austin multiple times. During this Vegas incident, it was Courtney that called the police, and she actually stated to the police that she wasn't afraid of Christian, and she was the one who decided to call the police because she felt like the argument was escalating to a bad place. She was very nonchalant in this interview, like, no big deal, we were just arguing. But when the police tell her that she was being arrested for domestic battery, she kind of turns around and plays this victim and says, oh, there's so much more, to the story I didn't say because I was trying to protect Christian. I didn't want him to get in trouble. I was actually calling the police for help. However, Christian never pressed any charges and always pleaded for her release. Christian's friends and family noticed Courtney was pulling him away from his group of friends by isolating him, always needing him, pulling him away at parties so that she could argue with him in a corner and fight with him. It's clear that Christian was a victim in this relationship, a victim to domestic abuse at the hands of Courtney. Despite this violent and toxic relationship, they stayed together And in January 2022, they decided to move to Miami for a fresh start. They moved into a luxury apartment called One Paraiso Luxury Building in Edgewater. They lived in Unit 2201 on the 22nd floor with 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and amazing views overlooking the water. And it wasn't cheap. It cost $10,000 a month in rent. Even though this was supposed to be this fresh start, soon after they moved into this new apartment, many of the building staff and security began documenting several incidents of loud arguments and altercations between the couple due to many of the neighboring tenants making complaints about the noise. And some neighbors, even 2 floors above them, could hear the fighting. The building managers were so close to evicting them over the amount of complaints they were receiving. On February 21st, 2022, an altercation between the couple was caught on the building's elevator CCTV cameras, and it shows Courtney aggressively attacking Christian. She is very aggressive. She's trying to get the elevator to close before Christian gets in. And when it doesn't and he ends up getting into the elevator, she starts shoving him and pulling his hair. It's pretty violent. In the footage, he's just defending himself. He's like blocking her attacks. He's restraining her at times. He kind of pushes her back at one point, but honestly, they were alone in an elevator. You know, during that moment, he probably wasn't aware that he was being recorded. He could have very well fought back. He could have chosen to be violent too. And if you've ever been constantly hit, you know that feeling you get so angry that now you want to hit the aggressor too. So it takes a lot to hold back that feeling, especially as a man, when his first instinct would naturally be to defend himself. So from watching her interviews in general, either with the police or when she's being interviewed about, her social media, she is pretty cocky. She goes on the We in Miami podcast, and over here, she acknowledges that she's pretty toxic and that although she likes to be submissive in the bedroom, in life, she didn't want anyone telling her what to do. She basically wants her partner to do whatever she says. Now, during this fresh start in Miami, Courtney and Christian would break up and get back together several times, but in the last week of March 2022, she would kick Christian out of their apartment. A few days later, on April 1st, they got back together with Christian moving back into the apartment. Between the month of March and April, Courtney would call the police to report Christian 7 times. In the early hours of April 2nd, the police, they attend the apartment building where they speak with Courtney in the lobby of the building. And this whole interaction is being filmed. She appears to be pretty intoxicated. She claims that she broke up with her boyfriend Christian and that he had been stalking her, sleeping in an elevator entranceway in the front of her apartment. The way she talks to the police about him, you would think that she hated him, that he wasn't her boyfriend. It's really weird to me, like, to talk about someone you allegedly love like he's a stranger. You can literally see the toxicity coming out of Courtney. So it turns out he left the apartment and turned off his location sharing with Courtney, which meant that Courtney couldn't see exactly where he was and what he was doing. This made Courtney extremely angry. She was fuming. So she tells police she wants a restraining order, and even when she's talking to the police, you can see she's holding back her anger because the police officers are probably sick of her shit. Like, they're probably used to her, and she's there gritting her teeth and she's making fists with her hands. She's on the phone talking to her father and indicating to me that yes, she has rage issues, but it's a police officer. She has to control her rage. She can't hit him, so she does, which means she can control herself. But with Christian, she doesn't feel like she needs to. He was her punching bag. The next day, Sunday, April 3rd, at around 1:30 p.m., Courtney hops onto IG Live. She begins chatting with her followers, and she seems to just be in a normal, almost upbeat mood. And that kind of shows you how fake social media is. I mean, the night before, she was literally calling the police about her boyfriend. And then the next day, she's just talking on Instagram like nothing ever happened. Christian then returns to the apartment at about 4:30 p.m. with some Subway sandwiches for himself and Courtney. Maybe this was some sort of peace offering. You know, after all, these fights with Courtney had become a regular occurrence. There's only one person who knows exactly what happened between 4:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. that day when Christian entered that apartment. At 4:57 p.m., Courtney makes a frantic 911 call. This 911 call is sickening. You can hear Christian in the background saying he's losing feeling in his arm, that he was dying. Courtney was heard saying to him, "I'm so sorry, baby, I'm so sorry." There is a lot of police body cam footage of the aftermath of this 911 call. Police arrive and ambulances take Christian to the hospital to be treated, and Courtney is taken to the police station to be questioned. She begs to be allowed to go to the hospital, but given her boyfriend was a victim in a stabbing, Courtney being the stabber, she was denied. In the police interview, she is very self-centered and nonchalant, saying, "Can you believe, guys, how my day is going?" Courtney's version of events to the police was that they got into an argument. Christian began to choke her. She couldn't breathe. She then was really scared and tried to get him off. And once she was free, she ran and she called her mom. She then goes into the kitchen and then grabs a knife. Christian then began to charge at her and she threatened him with the knife, and Christian told her to do it. She then threw the knife at him from 10 feet or 3 meters away. She acted in self-defense. She was completely covered in Christian's blood, which she claimed was due to her trying to stop the bleeding and save his life. During this police interview, Courtney claims that she's, probably not in trouble, right? She didn't do anything. So they kind of let Courtney tell her version of events and let her speak and say whatever she had to. And then they tell her that Christian had died. He could not be saved. Her reaction, she almost immediately asks the detectives for a hug. She's checking her pulse, regulating her breathing, repeatedly questioning whether Christian was really dead. She seems like almost overreacting, trying to act upset, but it ended up having the opposite effect. But again, people grieve differently. His mother, Chia, had learned of his death the following day when she received a phone call from someone checking on her son's status as an organ donor. The lack of respect towards Christian as a victim is clear from the start. Photos were taken of Courtney's injuries and she had some bruises, but these bruises could also be seen in her Instagram live video from earlier that day. It was taken 3 hours before the incident. So these bruises were not believed to have been caused in the attack. Also, if Christian choked Courtney to the point where she was unable to breathe, where were the strangulation marks? She had none. Courtney was released the following day. After this, Courtney was allowed to move out of Miami, back home to Texas, then off to Hawaii. A few months later, on 10th August 2022, Courtney was arrested in Hawaii and extradited to Miami for second-degree murder. Courtney had been on the phone with her mother at the time of the incident, and her mother would later on tell the police that she had heard the couple arguing while she was on the phone, and Courtney was accusing Christian of lying about something. Christian had allegedly said hello to a female neighbor while on a bike ride, and this infuriated Courtney. About 10 minutes before the 911 call, building management called the police about a domestic disturbance in their apartment. so everyone could hear what was going on. The medical examiner stated that Christian's fatal wound could not have been caused by a knife being thrown from 10 feet away. I mean, unless Courtney was a skilled ninja, it was impossible. The knife was also lodged 3 inches deep in Christian's chest, puncturing his subclavian artery, killing him. The wound, which was ironically directly above a tattoo Christian had of Courtney's name, also appeared to have been inflicted from above him, meaning it appeared to be plunged into his chest while he possibly lay beneath her. Christian's family was pretty upset at how long it took for Courtney to be arrested, given she very clearly had the means to flee the country from her OnlyFans income alone. Christian's family lawyer, Larry Hanfield, stated a few weeks after Christian's murder that the family believed Courtney was receiving special treatment as a white woman who had killed a black man. He stated, "We believe it is white privilege because any other person would have been arrested immediately." Like I said before, also, friends of the couple would come out to say that they had seen Courtney hit Christian, but not the other way around. A friend stated, "From what we've personally experienced between the both of them, we believe that Christian would never put Courtney in a position where she would have to stab him to protect herself." However, on the flip side, a neighbor of the couple stated that he had seen Christian hitting Courtney a week before the stabbing. He said he couldn't tell if it was open-handed or closed-handed, but he was swinging at her. But further evidence inside the couple's apartment showed Courtney to be the aggressor in the relationship, as there were multiple love letters and notes from Christian professing his love for Courtney. In one letter he wrote, "Your angelic face and majestic vibe and your captivating personality is all I asked for, all I ever needed from God." And then the voicemails and notes that Courtney would leave him would sound like, "I'm actually fucking not having a good day, where I actually literally fucking want to kill you, but you don't take me seriously." Courtney's lawyer has stated that she only acted in self-defense, that Christian attacked her and choked her, and that Courtney had no choice but to defend herself and fight back. He stated that he was disappointed in Courtney's arrest because she was cooperative with the investigation from the very beginning. He goes on to say that the reason Courtney was in Hawaii was to attend rehab for substance abuse and post-traumatic stress disorder, that Courtney was a victim of domestic violence and human trafficking, however, failed to elaborate further on that statement, that Courtney would be fighting and defending herself against these baseless charges. But to the investigators, it was clear that Christian had been a victim of Courtney's for many years. Evidence showed that in 2021, he claimed that Courtney stabbed him in the leg and he suffered a pretty bad injury. And the next day, he was hit in the head and believed that he might have been suffering from a concussion. In January 2022, Christian took a photo of 2 cuts on his cheek, which ended up requiring stitches. Text messages also showed Courtney had used racial slurs when referring to Christian in the weeks prior to his death. He wrote to Courtney, "Is love going to kill me? February was the worst month I had so far. I got cheated on. I got called that word again. I got slapped in my stitches that had reopened multiple times and is not healing as fast as it should." It's clear that Courtney and Christian were in a toxic, abusive relationship, the definition of which is where one or both people continuously harm each other emotionally, mentally, and or physically. And toxic relationships aren't only romantic, it can happen with family members or professional relationships too. Signs of being in this kind of relationship is feeling like you're constantly walking on eggshells. You're always apologizing for something. You're being controlled, gaslit, or love bombed. So many of these signs were present in Courtney and Christian's relationship. It's an extremely sad case. This couple appeared to be living their best lives on social media, always hugging and kissing, matching designer outfits, a lavish apartment, expensive, fun lifestyle in the heart of Miami. But behind the scenes, it was a completely different story. Even after multiple attacks and being treated horribly by Courtney on a daily basis, Christian didn't leave. He stayed with her, hoping things would get better because he loved her. And unfortunately for men specifically, it's hard to admit to being abused, as it's emasculating that you can't defend yourself from a woman. They can be made to feel that they aren't really a man, which is funny because if he did defend himself against Courtney, he would be the bad guy. Most people also diminish the abuse a man can suffer in a relationship. They can laugh it off and don't take it as a serious issue. In January 2024, Courtney's parents, Kim and Deborah, were arrested for illegally accessing Christian's laptop. Text messages were found between her parents and Courtney's lawyer, discussing the passcode to Christian's computer, and they even celebrated when they managed to hack into it. However, these charges against them were dropped in July when Courtney's lawyer argued that the laptop was a shared device and her parents were authorized to use it. Till date, there is no trial date set. Courtney has been in custody since August 2022, so 2 years exactly, and the defense are blaming the delays on the prosecution. Christian's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Courtney to cover funeral costs and other expenses as a result of his death. Courtney, who has pleaded not guilty and maintains her innocence, remains in jail without bail, awaiting trial. Thanks so much for watching and being here with me, guys. I appreciate all your support these past few months. I hope I can come back with a new video every week. Also, if you guys have any suggestions for a new layout, new background, since I won't be doing makeup anymore, I don't know, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I will pin my favorite comment at the top, and I will also try to reply to as many of you as I can. And hopefully I will see you again in next week's video. Besitos. Bye.